Can you hear me? This is the German Coast Guard.
Mayday, we are sinking.
What are you thinking about?
It's one of my favorite commercials,
It's
man.
the best, man. The German Coast Guard. Does our audio work?
We are back.
Are we? We're good?
Either that or everyone in the comments is lying. But I think we're back.
This is the German Coast Guard. Today we're going to talk earnings. We've got some earnings to talk about. Restoration Hardware, Costco, a little bit of Elon news, world news, Vlad the Impaler, what he's up to. Gary Black has something to say. We've got some world news. We'll touch on this. And as we were just saying before we realized El Audio was El Offo, we were saying stonks be up.
Stonks is good.
Yeah, it's been, like 2 years ago when we went to Cabo, that was like the end. It was over. After Cabo, everything was just downhill from there. It's been 2 years. And now it's sort of like, there was actually an article, and I was talking about this yesterday. It's like, wow, this is the opposite of what we got in December of 2021. And today I saw it coming across like what the suits are saying on the various different terminals. They're like, this seems like a reversal of the circumstances that were occurring with the Federal Reserve in December of 2021. And I'm like, did you listen to a Meet Kevin video? That's okay. Anyway, so what do we got? What are we going to start with today?
No, there's so much to do. Let's do earnings.
Let's do it.
Let's do some earnings. All right. There's a couple I want to talk about. One of them is Restoration Hardware. Their earnings call were actually a week ago, but since that earnings call, the stock's been up 31%.
Jeez.
So I was like, let's go over this today.
Yeah, no kidding. They're up 11% today. Was really interesting is I mentioned this morning in the live stream, I'm like, wow, Restoration Hardware looks cheap. And we were kind of like, and this was in the public live stream. We later did an analysis in the course member live stream. But during the public live stream, I'm like, this is why you got to come to the market open live streams. I'm like, oh, it's up 2% in pre-market. And we're looking at the numbers. We're like, maybe this is one of those that's coming in at bottom, because you had retail sales come out and it showed an inflection up in home furnishings. And so I think that's what drove people to go, what are home furnishing companies? Oh, Restoration Hardware stuff. When you don't know what to do anymore with your money, you buy that stuff. And or you borrow. Yep. And then you pretend like you don't know what to do with your money. Anyway, then sure enough, the sucker's up 11%. So what happened? What's going on with this one?
All right, well, I got a couple quotes from the earnings call. It says, when Wall Street didn't think our stock was worth buying, we bought 60% of the shares ourselves.
Yeah, at least spent like over $1 billion or something, huh?
There's a lot.
Yeah, that's crazy.
While it's not the Great Recession of 2008, 2009, it is from a housing point of view. It's that bad. That was a quote
For
by
furniture.
them.
That's so crazy. I would suspect, I mean, let's think about it. Frankly, it makes a lot of sense. When do you buy furniture? When you move. Mm-hmm. Like, when else are you really buying furniture? Okay, well, when something breaks, like your bed frame breaks or your couch has too many stains on it and you get convinced in a sale or something like that. But when is it like a free license to spend money on furniture? When you move. And so what is my deal with Lauren? We ain't ever moving. It's like, wait, but you're a family of 4. Now you had twins. Now you're a family of 6. If you have more children, you're going to be a family of like 8 or whatever, or 9 or something crazy. Who knows? And then all of a sudden, like, you're going to have to move, right? Nope. We just keep slicing up the house and adding more rooms because I'm like, why add square footage? Somebody's just going to fill it up with more furniture, and it ain't going to be me. So I ain't paying for it. And it works great. You know how many houses I go into where they're like, oh, yeah, that's my guest house over there. This is 10,000 square feet here. The guest house is 3,000 square feet. You walk around, and it's like, oh, what's this room? That's the wedding preparedness room. It's like some bullcrap you use like once a year. It's like, bro, you got art in here, crown molding, wainscoting. Look at them baseboards. People spend so much money on their homes. It's crazy. And the time to just blow money on furniture is when you buy a new home. So it kind of makes sense that for Restoration Hardware, this is like a recession for them. And it also kind of makes sense that as interest rates just broke 7%, and maybe we've bottomed out in the housing market. A lot of volatility at the end of last year, a lot of volatility in Q3, Q4 this year. Oh my God, who could have ever warned about Q3, Q4? If only somebody would have mentioned anything at all about Q3 or Q4 2023, or maybe even like started. That'd be a great time to have started a startup and kind of like practice what you're preaching.
Oh, like a housing startup, huh?
Yeah,
That would've been
exactly.
brilliant.
Like you could totally like hack the market.
You hack the market, yeah.
But anyway, so you got restoration hardware. All right. So it makes sense. Like from just it makes sense point of view, it makes sense. Now, what did the actual numbers say?
As far as cash equivalents, we have 380 million. Merchandise inventory, 718 million. I mean, the numbers look pretty good. Their current assets are at 1.2 bill. They actually don't expect the bottom until they're saying Q4 at the earliest, but really they're expecting mid to late Q2 to be the bottom for them. And I have a quote on that too. It says, we'll continue to see our business inflect through the rest of this quarter and through the first half of next year and hit an inflection point, I think, kind of mid-late second quarter. And that'll be despite kind of the housing market, unless there's something where there's another gap down. But it seems that they've got inflation somewhat under control. It seems like the Fed's becoming more confident. And if we can start to see a move in interest rates and the easing in interest rates, the federal funds rate and the mortgage rates, that'll help. This was last week. So
yeah, exactly.
Nail on the head on that.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden we're easing. So what's wild about this really is you look at the stock market likes to price in the future. You know, something we talked about on eHack was actually Enphase. We've got some kind of leaks that were coming out about layoffs coming over at Enphase. You can put up my screen if you have it handy, Krish. There we go. So layoffs at Enphase. I threw this up today at about 10:20 PT is Pacific time. Like some people are wondering, is it PM? Why Pacific time? Anyway, layoffs at Enphase. Reports showing up on thelayoff.com about a big mass layoff. And then I'm hearing rumors from anonymous sources that about 300 people got let go, which they've got about a 2260 staff. So it's like a good 13%. And so people are wondering, like, what does this mean? At the same time, a week ago, the co-founders like, we could see a bottom in like Q1, Q2. When companies say that, they're either totally full of crap or the stock market starts pricing it in now. Because like you don't wait for Q2 to actually start seeing, or the market certainly doesn't, maybe you do, but the market doesn't, wait until that point. You start trying to pre-price that in. And so I actually think we're probably starting on like an Enphase, maybe even restoration hardware. You're going to start pricing in the end, like Black Friday 2024. Maybe even into the spring of 2025, the spring moving season. Those are the things investors should be looking at now, unless you're a trader. You know, if you're day trading, well, I mean, whatever. All you needed this last week was calls. But, you know, hindsight is 2020. So point is, this is going to get priced in. And it sounds like, I mean, they're obviously bullish. They're buying their own stock, which makes sense. This is like, if you're in like a 2007 or 8 scenario in your restoration hardware, why would you not? Good for them. And the fact that they make like, what is it? I think, can you go to their income? I want to see their gross profit. I want to say their gross profit was like 55% or something like that. What is that? What is it?
340 mil.
Divided by, and what's the very top line there? 751? 340, 751, right?
Yeah, that's the net revenues.
341, 751? Yeah. 55%, man. 55% gross margin. So that means when you go in there, and like a dummy, so honestly, like if you're buying it, like you're just trying to like impress somebody else, it's stupid. You spent $10,000 on a desk. Okay, and I'm not saying I haven't done stupid things. It wasn't restoration hardware, but I've done stupid things too. A lot of stupid things. But I'm okay calling myself stupid. Yeah. Anyway, so you spent $10,000 on a desk. $5,500 of that is gross profit. Bro, they make twice as much money on their freaking lumber than Tesla makes on self-driving cars.
Oh, that's true.
Bro, like, if they, like, you have to give them street cred for that. If they're literally able to bluntly rip you off that badly, then they deserve the stock to go up. Like, good for them. They have learned how to con legally.
I mean, yeah, they've got the reputation. People buy them for the name. Their stuff is good quality.
Sure.
It's maybe not as good of quality as it's costing, because obviously, like,
of course not.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you look at like an IKEA desk, let's say. There's like the college level, and then you pay like $50 more, and then there's like the kitchen quality level, okay? So you just went from like 50% quality, like it's trash and it's gonna like wobble over and last you one semester. Then you go to like the kitchen level at IKEA, now you're like 80% of the way there. And with restoration hardware, you're gonna be like 90%. Is that extra 10% worth paying 100x? No, of course not. but it's the status. Anyway, so good for Restoration Hardware. I mean, they could rip people off legally. I think it's great. I mean, it's actually that is pricing power. Good for them.
At this point, do you think the stock is overvalued, undervalued?
I mean, I personally, I think that it's probably up from here. I don't know that I am so enthused about allocating to furniture, because I wonder, what are people, and this is the speculation, right? Like, what do people buy first in a recovery? Cars and solar systems that they can justify coming out of a recession, or Restoration Hardware furniture? You know, like, interest rates aren't going to be back at 2% right away. So
probably not at all next year either.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I don't think they'll do poorly. Don't get me wrong. And again, I think they do great. Like, think about it this way: Costco, their margin, their gross profit on the stuff they sell is like 11%. So you go in there and you buy, you know, your 30 pack of croissants because you really need that for yourself. I used to buy this.
30 packs?
Dude, come on, man. They come in the giant clamshells.
Yeah,
and like,
I think my family used to buy those too growing up. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
They're so good. And like, the cost per croissant is so low, and they last like all week because of all the chemicals in them. It's great. Like, they don't go bad. So, but like, okay, so what? They you know, they're going to sell you a clamshell of that for like, what, $16 or something like that? So your 50 cents a croissant, it's pretty good. Now, and it tastes good too. But now, what are they making on that? $1.75 maybe? You know, that's reasonable. Okay, so they made 10, 11%. That's fine. I'm totally okay with that.
You know, I was going to actually do some research on Costco's earnings too, and then I've been checking eHack throughout the day, by the way. And so I check at one point, it's like, well, never mind. Kevin already talked about Costco, so do you want to take it and talk about Costco earnings?
Yeah,
from here?
totally. So let's pull up eHack. It's funny you say that, because I posted that like an hour before coming over here. So if you haven't gone to eHack yet, make sure you go there. You can see Musk having to testify in the SEC case. We talked Intel over here. Remember, this is totally free. I talked about shorting the dollar. It's totally free, and it's going to stay this way. So anyway, here's Costco. Now, Costco's really interesting because they beat on their numbers, most of them, like their revenue over here. Comp sales came in a little bit weaker, but they beat on their revenue. And what's fascinating is when we go to, did I put it in here? I did. When we actually go to their statement over here, they mention right here that they actually added an extra week, a 53rd week to their 2023. And the week that they conveniently happened to add was comparing this year to last year, which last year ended November 20th, and this year happened to end, there it is, November 26th.
That's a good day to end.
Yeah, so they literally included Black Friday, the Saturday, and the Sunday. So like, oh, no duh, you guys, had some better numbers here. So they prop up the numbers with an accounting trick. Now, they argue that benefited 0.5% to 1%, but who knows? Maybe that's when they make their higher margin items, because they don't talk about margin there. They say net sales benefited. But if those are the higher margin items people are buying then, because, you buy your groceries during normal weeks, but you go to Costco, you buy the TV or whatever, the higher margin items for them during Black Friday. Anyway, that could change all the numbers. And then conveniently, we're going to do a $15 special dividend here, which is a big deal. Like, that's how much they make in earnings in a year. Their EPS expected for next year is $15.55. And now they're paying a special dividend of $15. I believe owners of record, I wrote it down over here, it was the owners of record December 28th, and January 12th is when the payable will be on that. But what's insane about this is a few things. Number one, I think people, first of all, are in this stock because people see it as a safety play. Oh, Costco makes money. People have to eat when inflation's high, so go to Costco or whatever because they got a $1.50 hot dog. Brilliant marketing.
Yeah,
okay,
that is, yeah.
It's all psychology and marketing. It's brilliant. It's the stuff we teach in the courses. That sort of psychology. There's a sale ending today, by the way. Check that out. Link down below. Anyway, this special dividend is interesting, but wait a minute. They're trading for like $650 or what is it right now? Cost stock, $630. So $630 divided by 15, they're trading, with the pennies in there, they're trading for like a 40x, and their growth is expected to be like 8.5. So they're literally trading at a 4.7 peg.
Yeah,
dude, that's like 2 to 3 times what they should be trading for. Now you got a fat dividend coming, so people are gonna hold that. As soon as that dividend comes out, the stock's gonna tank. That's okay, though, because you're getting a year worth of earnings in the dividend. So, of course, there's going to be a movement of You know, I mean, at least some percentage points after the dividend. But the question then is, what happens after that? Because this is a company that is not proud. See, I literally wrote that. They're not proud like Restoration Hardware. They are all in on lower cost because they make most of their money from their memberships.
Yeah.
Totally. I mean, it's like they make $20 million a week from their memberships. $20 million. That's a lot of money, man. $20 million is basically pure profit. I mean, how many people do you need to run ads for your memberships? Like, you need like a staff of like 2 people, and you could run the ads throughout the whole country for whatever ads you're doing. Which, interestingly, by the way, that brings up something I don't have on eHack here because I just figured it out because somebody sent it to me. Oh, it just went away. Frickin' Twitter.
X.
Right. Costco, according to The Street, Costco quietly goes into business with Elon Musk. While Walt Disney, Microsoft, Warner Brothers Discovery, and others have stopped advertising, Costco has embraced the brand. Now, what I think about Costco advertising on X, first of all, is smart because your competition just went away. So you could fill that space. But the other thing to consider is, what do people who actually use X have to do? Pay a monthly fee. What do you have to do for Costco? Pay a monthly fee. So you're literally advertising to people who are conditioned to pay monthly. It's brilliant. If you wanted a subscription service, advertise to people going to Costco. That's very interesting. But my problem with this, so all of this is very impressive. Like good for them. They were able to grow memberships. In my POV, adjusted 6%. You can read all this. I'm not going to read you all this because it's all on eHack. But anyway, and the special dividend is nice. But the problem is when the special dividend goes away, that pedestal they're sitting on of a 4-peg, that's going to collapse. It's got to collapse. So I mean, unless I'm missing something, the valuation here seems extremely stretched. So we got safety play. We got special dividend propping them up for a while. We're at all-time highs on the stock. And if you keep driving this deflationary push of cutting prices, eventually that 11% margin is going to go down. And now your OPEX is going to start eating into your membership net. And so your total net revenue or your net income goes down. So, look, I don't think I would long-term bet against them. Do I think there's potentially a short opportunity on Costco over the next 6 months? I kind of do. But, do your own research on it. I probably won't short it because I got so much other stuff going on. And I got time to do this.
And with a longer last quarter, like next quarter is going to be a little bit shorter too. Like that's not going to look good.
Unless when do they adjust that back in? Yeah, would it be the next quarter, which they left Cyber Monday for that on purpose, I wonder, or is it next year? Unless you have the same lap again. Yeah, I don't know.
If they do it for next year, it's going to look awful on the year over year.
Yeah, the week's got to come from somewhere. So I don't know. That's a really good question. Yeah, we'll have to see what they end up doing. Where that magical extra week's going to come from.
All right. So yeah, I'd be scared to short them, but that was a really good analysis.
All right. We'll see. All right. Next,
let's talk a little EVs.
Ooh.
No Tesla today. I have Lucid and I have Rivian for you.
Okay.
So Lucid, well, they opened a factory in Saudi Arabia in September of this year. And they've assembled nearly 800 cars since it opened.
Oh, wait, when did they open it?
I believe September of this year. Is it this year? Let me double check.
Yeah, let's see when they open.
That's a lot, right?
But
there's a caveat to the building cars too.
800, because how much did they spend on that factory too? That'd be really interesting to see because I know the Saudis have invested pretty heavily in Lucid itself.
Oh yeah, they own like 60%.
I think they're like just hoping that's like their Tesla, but they don't hold a candle.
It is September of this year.
Wow. Okay.
Now, to be fair, the government's promised to buy 100,000 Lucids in the next 10 years, the Saudi government.
Okay.
And
you get a Lucid. You get a Lucid.
Yeah, everyone gets a Lucid. Check under your seats. Everyone check under your seats.
Check under your oil well.
Yeah. But the main focus of this factory right now is actually not producing cars. It's training employees because what they're doing is they're going to be opening... I don't know if it's going to be a different location factory, but they're going to be opening a factory capable of fully manufacturing the car by 2026. And I say that because the cars that are getting manufactured in Saudi Arabia are actually getting manufactured here in the United States, disassembled, sent over there, and reassembled.
Good Lord.
What training opportunity. They've accumulated $9.5 billion in losses since they opened that factory in September.
Yeah, no kidding. They are the definition of burning money. Rivian burns money too, but mostly they just burn their shareholders. But people keep buying the stock, so it's actually starting to trend up from its death bottom.
And while I'm actually seeing Rivians around, like I don't see Lucids very often.
No, it's pretty rare. That is true. Like Rivian's getting that cult following. Oh wow, yeah. Over the last few days, Rivian popped a little bit. Popped 23% just over the last couple of days. Yeah, I mean, like their financials are getting better, and I've changed my tune on them over this last maybe 6 to 9 months. Like, oh, they're getting better. I don't want to buy them because I still think we're just like a day away from another dilutive event. We're 18 months away from running out of money over there. But hey, if the stock market goes up, great for Rivian because then they can print from the shareholders.
I do actually have some Rivian news too. Yeah. They have a partnership that was announced with AT&T.
For like service trucks or something like that.
And it goes both ways because AT&T is also the sole provider for like internet for Rivians as well. But they're going to be piloting Rivian vehicles in 2024, and that's the R1T, which is the truck, the R1S, which is the SUV, and then also those just like the Amazon has the electric commercial vans. They're going to be using those as well.
The box van, not a box, like the Sprinter kind of stuff. Okay, the Ford Transit kind of stuff. So, but they haven't started delivering those. Oh no, they exist, right? I've seen some of the Amazon ones.
Uses them.
Amazon has them. Yeah, because Amazon invested a lot of money in them, and they took like a multi-billion-dollar write-off from when the stock plummeted from like 150 to whatever it was, $10 or $20.
It's like 2 years ago, Amazon bought a good chunk of Rivian.
Oh yeah, like at the top while we're in Cabo. Probably. But anyway, yeah. Oh, I do see these on the road actually. I mean, good for them. Frankly, Tesla should be making that Rivian cargo van. If you want, Christian, throw it up on screen here. Like, looks pretty hot. I love it. It's got a little bit of like the cyber look going on. We've got, the brake light going all the way around looks pretty cool. The roll-up door looks great. I think it's apparently manufactured with panels there on the side, but I've certainly seen these on the road. I'm a big fan of this. I think Tesla needs to make these as soon as possible. Tesla's losing some real potential by not being in this commercial fleet world. And I think they're going to go there. They know they need to make this. Maybe the presses aren't big enough, because Tesla wants to make a profitable vehicle.
It looks like the range of these vehicles are 150 to 160 miles, which isn't huge. I don't know if that's empty or if that's with weight. I'm pretty sure that's empty.
Probably, yeah. It's going to be like, all right, go deliver your packages in Ventura. So like what's the length of Ventura? I don't know, like 7 miles or something like that. Like who cares?
Tops.
Yeah. So like you do one zip code. So what's the length of one zip code? Like 1.5 miles? Like who cares? Yeah. It's the stop and go stuff, which electric vehicles should be pretty efficient at. So
yeah, that should be the best way of doing it. It's really, really cheap. You charge it overnight, do the same thing the next day.
Yep. Go when you're done with your shift, you go plug it in.
Part of the deal with this is AT&T's goal is to be carbon neutral by 2035, just like everyone else.
Everybody's saying this.
They're actually using AI as well. You're driving 20% fewer miles every year because of AI.
Yeah, I think logistics is one of the best places probably to use AI. I mean, that's when we called it big data back in the day, like a year ago.
The good old days, man.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. I mean, hey, if you can plug in or forget plugging it in, if you could just walk in and the computer has already planned your route for you, now you save the people time of actually planning all that crap, and it does it in the most efficient manner possible. Fantastic. And I mean, it's pretty simple. Like, this package needs to go there. It's not like when you get there, discover what you need, okay, then go find a ladder or find a tool or whatever. Like, for example, like real estate construction. Very different. The kind of work that you'd be involved in. It's literally just, this needs to move from here to there. They get replaced by a robot one day. Maybe an Optimus.
Ooh.
With somebody in the car controlling it.
I still don't know. I still don't know if somebody was actually controlling that Optimus. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if somebody was.
Well, if there was a way to figure it out, I would make a bet. $20. But
I would take you up on $20. That's a rounding error. Okay, well, so besides Tesla, what EV company would you say you're most bullish on?
Yes.
I was going to say no.
Oh, yeah, no, it's probably right. Yeah, you're right. That's a good question. I mean, really, if I wanted to diversify away from Tesla, eventually, I hope, I don't know, Rivian's margins, they are improving because they're building out scale. But I wonder, I don't know that, I know they're losing less money per vehicle that they're creating, but I don't know if their terminal value is positive. So, like, you go from losing $80,000 a car to losing $60,000 a car. It's like, great, you're less of a loser, but you're still a loser.
I think they're losing more than that.
You probably.
But Lucid's losing like $500,000.
Oh, yeah, Lucid's not even running. So, but like let's say they get to where, yay, we're now break even on making cars. Okay, well, by that point, what's Tesla? 25% again? Yeah, so like, I don't know that I could bet on Rivian because I have absolutely no idea if they're actually going to be able to get to that kind of margin. Like, they're creating an unprofitable product that's very nice because they got so much money during the bubble, 2021. Mm-hmm. You know, if they didn't get all that money, there wouldn't be a nice, beautiful Rivian truck going around with Amazon to be like, look at our EVs. That van probably cost Amazon, well, billions of dollars because of the stock.
Yeah.
But outside of the stock, somebody who buys that van for, I don't know, 80 grand or call it 100 grand to make the math easy, it probably cost Rivian 300 grand to make it. But it's okay because they just made the shareholders pay for it.
Yeah, that's true.
The shareholders pay. So then you wonder who would actually be another EV? BYD.
BYD. People in the comments are saying Neo. What are your thoughts on Neo these days?
I haven't looked at their earnings in a while, actually.
Me neither.
Yeah, but otherwise, I mean, BYD. The one thing I don't like about BYD is that they're not really prioritizing autonomy. They're kind of like the Toyota, where it's sort of like, no, let's just make hybrids and yeah, we'll make some battery electrics. Okay, fine. Mr. Toyoda, the CEO of Toyota, stepped down earlier this year because he mentioned that basically the silent majority of people don't want EVs, and like 2 days later he got ousted.
Wow.
Yeah, because no, we need.
They're like tripling down on hydrogen at this point.
It's stupid. Let's check out the Toyota Mirai. Let's look at those. Oh,
dude, used Toyota Mirais, you can get that for like 10 grand, 12 grand.
I think people will pay you to take it. It's so explosive.
They would also. So here's one of the. There's many issues with hydrogen, but they'll give you a gas card when you buy the Mirai, or like a hydrogen card, right? And I think it comes with
gasoline.
yeah, $15,000 or $25,000 worth of hydrogen on this card. And I think what's happening is all these hydrogen companies. I say all these. I don't know. Maybe there's one or two, but they're selling at a premium because, well, you've got a gas card that Toyota has given you. So I think that's part of why hydrogen's so expensive. It costs a lot more to refill a Mirai than it does any other car.
Right. When they're trying to induce demand by saying, well, we'll basically pay for it. And so hopefully more people will sell hydrogen at gas stations or whatever. Okay, let's look at Neo, I suppose, really quickly. If you want, Christian, you could throw this up on screen right here. So Q3, I mean, look at that. That's actually not that bad. You got 11% vehicle margin right here. Let's see if I can get the annotator going here. Oh, yeah, look at that. Okay, so 11% vehicle margin. That's up from 6.2 in the prior quarter, down from 16.4 last year. That's okay. So loss from operations, still losing. These are what, renminbis here? Okay, so we're going to, where's my dollars? Where are the dollars, man? I just want dollars. Why are you giving me this? So, okay, whatever. Anyway, okay, so I'll just look at the percentages and make some division, work some division here. So they actually delivered 16,000 vehicles, and they focus on autonomy, which I respect them for. I'm pretty sure they're partners with NVIDIA. And NVIDIA wants their automotive sector to grow. And I love NVIDIA. I don't think they're anywhere near as close to, a Tesla, but that's okay. NIO delivered 16,000 cars in October. It's not bad. 15,900 in November. Okay, it's stable. All-time vehicle deliveries. Wow, there are 430,000 Neos on the road. It's actually pretty impressive. Here's some convertible offerings. So basically, they had to raise money, about $1.1 billion, it looks like, since we got two different convertibles here. We've got some more partnerships with JAC, which is joint partnership with the Chinese government as well. So, CEO commentary. Third quarter, we delivered 55,000 vehicles. Okay, not bad. So, what is that? As a percentage of Tesla, it's like, what, 12 to 15% or something like that? It's actually not bad. That's not bad. Representing a solid year of growth. Good. So, let me see if I can get some actual dollar numbers here in revenues in dollars. Let's take a brief look at it. Yeah, here we go. US dollars, September 30th. Okay, so here we go. So we got vehicle sales, total revenues, 2.6 billies. Here are their costs of vehicle sales. So let's divide those two. Yeah, that's probably about 11%, actually. 2, 3, 8, 6. And we're going to divide what we're left with by that number. Yeah, it's about 11%. It's actually not bad. That's better than I thought.
Looking at just Tesla, and I'm looking at last year's sales, it looks like Tesla sold 555,000 cars in China. NIO sold 122,000 last year in China.
This is like 20% or so of that. Yeah. NIO's losing money, but they're losing less money, $664-ish million. So shareholders are paying for that. So that's with the 11% margin. So they had gross profit about 200K, or 200 mil rather. It's going to be a while with that OPEX. I mean, they got to 4x their gross profit. They're already making a good amount of cars. So it's not like they only made one car, right? They're already making a lot of cars. What, over 50,000 in a quarter? That's pretty good. So somehow we need to 4x the gross profit. So how long until we could 4x the vehicles? And then maybe we can get to break even, assuming R&D, SG&A, and some of the other issues don't explode. So it's just another example where it's going to be a minute. And so they're going to have to keep raising money and diluting investors to be able to survive. Where were these bonds? When did they actually do these bonds? In September and October, the company completed. Okay, good. And this is the quarter ending what? This was like November, I'm pretty sure. Well, September and October, it's not even all going to show up here. Because actually, I think, this is September 30th. So only some of the debt's going to show up here. Now, that'll be offset by the cash, but the point is you're getting diluted as a shareholder. You're subsidizing their ability to sell these vehicles. They're getting better. They're kind of similar to Rivian, where they're getting better. They're actually probably they are doing better than Rivian because they're gross profitable.
Yeah, I agree. Objectively, they're doing better.
They're gross profitable.
Problem with the battery swap is that's kind of the bottleneck, isn't it? It's not that people can't build cars, that they can't build enough batteries.
Are they still doing that?
That's a good. I mean, I assume so, but I haven't looked into NIO in so long.
NIO differentiates itself through the continuous technological break, because Elon had that idea, and then he canned the idea, and then NIO's like, no, we want it, and then they went for it. So, industry-leading battery swapping technologies, battery as a service. Yeah, they're still doing the battery swap. Well, good for them. They got the ES6, which is the 6-seater SUV, EL7, 5-seater, ES6. Oh, well, why I can't invest in NIO, man? It's Chinese.
It is Chinese.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know, I knew it, but my point of saying that is I think their economy's screwed right now.
You're right.
I don't know when the right answer is to buy the dip in China. And I'm not even going to bother trying to call it because I'm not there.
Yeah.
If I was there and I was a real estate agent there, or I'm doing real estate deals, or I'm running a business there, I could see the sentiment of the people around, the people I'm calling, the people I'm visiting in different provinces or whatever they call them in China, communes. I don't know.
I think provinces is right.
I can get killed when I go there. I can't go to China. But anyway, so I can't make a bet on the Chinese government or the economy yet. I don't think we're going to go to war, which a lot of people are fearful of. I'm not. I think that's maybe like a 5% situation. A potential. It could happen, but for me to try to make a bet on China would be 100% speculation. So I don't dislike NIO. I would actually. Honestly, I would love to visit NIO and where are they? Sweden? They've got a place in Sweden or something like that.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah,
somewhere north.
I'd totally go to Europe. I'll go to Europe this winter and I'll go visit them. I'll take my little European passport and then I'll go the American side. It has no line, and then you go the European passport line. And there's a line, but I'll go into line just on purpose. Take my little EU passport. It's actually not usually that bad. So. Yeah, that might be kind of cool to visit NIO. We should hit them up.
Field trip, let's do it.
Field trip to NIO, yeah. But anyway, the company itself, I think they're actually not doing that bad. But again, I can't bet on China, and I can't tell you when the bottom of China is going to be. So that's my take on NIO.
Okay,
it's a good question though.
Let's talk about your buddy Peter Schiff.
Oh, I love Peter.
Yeah,
meeting him in person, he's so cool.
I know.
Yeah,
I'll never forget that trip.
Oh, that was so fun. His son's cool. They're just good people. So I don't agree with the word he says about gold.
I agree with your disagreement.
Yeah, but I can still like the guy.
Let's read his take on inflation here. He posted this on X yesterday. If you think inflation is bad now, wait until you see how much worse it gets now that the Fed has declared victory in the fight. Plus, CNBC declaring the death of inflation is a great contrarian indicator that it's about to rise like a phoenix from a pile of fake ashes.
Now that's actually funny because what he's doing is he's bagging on Jim Cramer.
Yeah.
by doing that. Yeah, that's actually funny. I mean, that's a pretty popular thing to do right now. But anyway, I feel like that's almost like a thing of the stock market. It's like, oh, Jim Cramer. Oh,
I sometimes feel really bad for Jim.
oh,
man.
I know. So do I. Like, I met him at the stock exchange. I felt bad for him because he's a very nice guy, and I honestly I think he's got a heart of like roses. Like I think he's a wonderful dude, and he doesn't deserve the hate he gets on the internet. He's just a meme. So it's like I think he's just resigned to, as hopefully he has, hopefully, knock on wood, he's just resigned to like, it is what it is. But I'm just gonna keep coming to work and doing my Jim Cramer thing. I would.
Yeah.
It's like, good for you, man. Like many people would kill to be in your position. Right, you get to work at the New York Stock Exchange every day. That's kind of cool. So, New York Stock Exchange is a really cool place. It just reminds me of RuneScape so much.
Why RuneScape?
It's just the Grand Exchange or like qualifying for the mining guild or whatever. It's just great. But anyway, yeah, no, buy gold. I mean, theoretically, gold should go up as the dollar goes down. So it might not be a horrible short-term bet, but long-term, I'm like, what? My opportunity cost on that is way too high. I don't see it.
I agree. That's all I had on Mr. Schiff, but that does kind of bring us into the cryptocurrency conversation.
So he's super. He thinks it's just going to explode, inflation.
Oh yeah, he thinks inflation, like this is like a temporary little dip. People are getting excited. It's like a dollar bull trap, I guess.
Yeah, people have this very, very convinced belief that if the economy does well, inflation will explode. Not how it works. An efficient economy, an exploding economy should actually see inflation come down because you innovate.
There's still inflation, but it's not going to be like skyrocketing.
Well, I mean, you could have inflation, but like think about it this way: when you have competition, everybody is trying to grow. So everybody's trying to hire more people and grow their business. You have more people working, more people spending money, more velocity of money. So initially we think, okay, there's more money out there circulating more often. So that theoretically should induce inflation. So that thesis, totally reasonable, velocity of money thesis. But the flip side is that gives companies more money to say, well, we're going to invest in these tools, which are going to let us do this startup. And with this startup, we can disrupt an industry and bring costs down substantially. And now all of a sudden, the consumers win with deflation and the businesses win by giving people jobs. And then the workers win because they can spend the money that they're earning on more stuff. It's a great system. And people are like, oh, but why doesn't that cause inflation? Because of competition. Every business is trying to figure out how can we beat up the next guy? How can we sell a better product or a cheaper product? Mm-hmm. That's why Costco, it's like slash the prices. Let's go. We need the memberships because they want to arb the memberships. Everybody's trying to figure that out. As soon as somebody figures out somebody's making a lot of money doing something, 50 businesses open up trying to do the same thing to get a piece of the pie. So that's actually where Tesla has like this unique moat right now, where it's like, who's really competing with a profitable EV? Well, it's BYD in China, but they're making money off the hybrids, not off the 95% autonomy we have on Tesla vehicles, which is amazing. So now, why don't we then have deflation when the economy is doing well? Because the Fed prints.
Yeah, or
that's the only reason.
Disinflation, I guess. But yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, but think about it. 10 years ago. 15 years ago, I bought that 48-inch TV for $2,000. I sold my World of Warcraft account, and I bought a 48-inch TV for $2,000.
You get 60-inch TVs for
$300.
I was about, 500, 300, sure.
You got to get the Black Friday sales.
Yeah. Don't get the Black Friday TVs. They're lower quality. They're lower quality. They use different parts.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I shot a Nerf gun at one, and then I broke one.
Why did you shoot a Nerf gun at one?
I thought it was funny.
$300 joke.
I didn't think it would break. For like a year, we have these like giant black bars down the middle of the TV. And Lauren's just like, Kevin, when are we going to get a new TV? Ask me next month. I kicked the can down the road for another year.
Last year, I went to buy a new TV because I've only ever had one TV. I got it for free, a Samsung Smart TV in 2016 when I bought a Samsung phone, and it came with a free TV. And I had that TV forever. And then last year I was like, all right, let me go buy a TV. I've been dreading this because I know it's going to be expensive. Dude, TVs have gotten really good and really cheap. It was crazy.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying is like, did TVs get really cheap over the last 15 years due to, well, let's set it up, due to there being one TV manufacturer that has a monopoly that still sells $2,000 48-inch TVs? No, of course not. The TVs literally collapsed in price 85%. and they got twice as big. So you literally got twice the size for 85% off. I mean, that's like, that's like going to like certain streets in LA and going to like the porn theaters or whatever.
There were so many analogies you could have made.
But anyway, like the point is, capitalism through competition, Roku getting into TV, Sony, Panasonic, Samsung, even the Apple set-top box TV, the smart TVs, all of that. And then people willing to make TVs at a loss to be able to put their software on the TV to arb a profit a different way. And then they're taking that money from the advertising market, which takes money from cable, basically. Everybody's literally stealing money from each other. That's the way competition works. And so as a result of all of that, TVs have become extremely inexpensive and very good for what you pay.
So even though like the dollar is inflated in the past 15 years, the fact is, as far as your purchasing power for TV specifically, like you're getting more TV for less.
Absolutely. Your standard of living
way
higher today than it was in the 1920s, the 1950s, whatever. Now, then people were like, oh, but Kevin, one person could support a family of 4. Right, and you had one car and you had an ice box. You probably didn't even have a microwave or more than one TV. Now you've got a TV in every room in the house. Everybody's got computers and iPads and iPhones. And like the amount of crap we have today compared to what we had in the 50s is insane. So like the washing machines basically like reach their hand out and do things for you. It's like this is all technological innovation. So growth breeds competition. Competition breeds deflation. Why then do we have inflation? Because deflation is really bad. Deflation leads to a depression. So the Fed says, let's have a 2% inflation target. So let's print enough money to have 2% inflation. If the Fed said, we're going Austrian, we won't print any money, then we would have probably had pretty deep recessions or depressions through the business cycle. Everything bubbles up and then it crashes really hard. But consumers would have very cheap things, be even cheaper.
Right, but you wouldn't be incentivized to spend any of your money because the value of your money is actually getting
more
over time. So you want to save it, and that's horrible for the economy.
It's so bad because nobody would want to invest in real estate. Like even a homeowner, it doesn't make sense to invest in real estate because your debt burden would actually grow in a deflationary environment. Like think about that. I don't think people realize when you have, let's say, a $500,000 house, okay, $500,000 house, and let's say you borrowed 100% on it. So you owe $500,000 on the house. Now you have 30% inflation. So eventually the money you're able to make from selling goods or services should be 30% higher. Eventually. I'm not saying right away your pay is up 30%, but it should be 30% higher eventually. It is now like your monthly payment is 30% less burdensome. Paying off that house is 30% easier, and you did nothing. That's inflation. Now imagine if it went the other way around. You got paid, like you're making $100K, and then now all of a sudden you're making $70K, but you still have the same $500K mortgage you signed up for at $100K. You'd be like, what the hell? Like it's literally punishing me to have this debt. Yeah. Inflation rewards you for having debt. And that's why we have a bubble economy and, eventually the dollar and debt and everything will collapse. But I don't think that's going to be my lifetime. So now I look at the rules of the game and I'm like, well, F it, play the game, man. These are the rules. This is what the Fed's going to do. They literally tell you what they're going to do. 2% inflation.
Cryptocurrency?
Yeah.
JP Morgan.
That's why we're never going to have Bitcoin as the dollar, because you can't print it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not anti-Bitcoin. Like, I think that's great. I think it's wonderful. And blockchain technology, all that's great. But it'll never replace the dollar, and they'll fight tooth and nail to keep the dollar for exactly what I just described. So what do we got?
It's a good point. So JP Morgan had something to say about cryptocurrency, their predictions for next year. So we know Bitcoin's halving event is coming up, and historically that's always triggered like a huge bull run for Bitcoin. JP Morgan is saying that despite that halving event, they are more bullish for Ethereum next year than they are for Bitcoin. They think Ethereum is going to be more lucrative than Bitcoin in 2024.
I think aren't they building like the JPM? I think they're building the JPM coin on top of Ethereum. So
I didn't know that.
I don't know. But if they are, is that not a little bit biased then? It's like, all of our reserves are on Ethereum, so yes, Ethereum to the moon. That would be interesting to see.
If it's the Ethereum blockchain.
There you go.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I mean, it makes I like Ethereum a little bit more in principle.
For practicality
Yeah.
purposes. Yeah.
So, but the couple things JP Morgan has highlighted as far as why Bitcoin's not going to do so well is they're saying, first of all, there's excessive optimism going around Bitcoin right now. And this halving event, now I've heard this a million times before, but the halving event is already priced in.
Everybody always says that. Everything's always priced in. Like it's because in college, or even high school, they try to teach you the efficient market hypothesis, and everything is always priced in. It's not. Like it ain't efficient. It's all emotion. So okay. Anyway,
but here's why Ethereum is going to do well.
Okay.
So there's an EIP, right, and a what is it? Ethereum
Improvement Project.
Project. Is it project? Is that what the P stands for?
Or is it protocol?
That's protocol, project.
Ethereum proposals. It's proposals. You're right. Wow, I can't believe I mixed that one up. That's been a while.
We used to be so deep into the crypto
We
research.
read all of them. It was fun. That's funny. All right. Anyway.
Okay. So EIP 4844. So this goes into what's called proto-dank sharding.
I thought you were going to say pro the Doge.
Oh.
Remember that guy?
I do remember that. I met him.
He's a nice guy.
He is a nice guy.
He's a nice guy.
The Dogecoin millionaire. Dogecoin 100,000-aire.
The Dogecoin. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Okay.
Nice guy, though.
Yeah.
Proto-dank sharding, which... Dank sharding. Proto-dank sharding.
Okay.
So this is supposed to improve scalability and efficiency of Ethereum, and it runs on the main purpose of this EIP is it has a new type of transaction called shard blob transactions, and basically little shards are fractions of Ethereum. Of the Ethereum space, basically breaking things into smaller bits. Blobs are the size of the transactions, I guess. So basically what you're going to get is larger data transactions over Ethereum. So there's a couple things to note with this. Number one, they're going with if this EIP passes, a blob-centric ledger, which means, so these blobs are not going to be part of the Ethereum state, but they can be accessed using smart contracts. So this is going to be really bullish for smart contracts, which is one of the biggest perks, in my opinion, of Ethereum.
When we get more practical day-to-day uses. I still hear every day, oh, we're going to do everything, all real estate transactions, everything in real estate. I'm like, it's going to be a minute before I think that happens.
It will be.
It's insurance underwriting. It's not as, people think real estate, most people who aren't involved in real estate, they think real estate agents are worthless. We don't need lenders. We don't need escrow. We don't need title. And anybody who's in the industry is like, try this shit for a week. Anyway,
so this blob-centric ledger, it's also going to significantly reduce the amount of data that needs to get processed and stored by the Ethereum blockchain. So it's really bullish, I think, for Ethereum. It's more efficient. It's going to be cheaper. You're going to have lower costs for rollups, which are... I mean, in a nutshell, it's going to be cheaper. It's going to be more efficient. And this is why I've always been bullish for Ethereum over things like, I know people are excited about things like Cardano or Solana.
Don't say anything bad about ADA.
It's not that it's bad against ADA. It's that I'm bullish for Ethereum because my thinking behind this is all these other cryptocurrencies that are Ethereum adjacent, right? They're based on the concept of Ethereum and how it works. They do something better than Ethereum, right? That's why ADA became popular. It did something better than Ethereum. Solana did something better than Ethereum. The problem is, the way I see it, this is my take on it, there's always going to be a new one that comes out that does something better. And when that happens, everyone's going to move away from ADA and into the next one and move away from that one into the next one.
It's like deflation, like the fee deflation, because they're going to keep going to the better and better thing.
But Ethereum is already so well established.
That's true. It's got the reputation.
And because of these EIPs, it's constantly changing itself. Sure, there's a little bit of a delay. It's a little bit behind. Yeah, but the fact is it's always improving on itself. So like I am an Ethereum fan.
Apple always a little bit behind Android, but better. Okay. That's fair. That's fair. Okay. All right. I see Steve's comment here, by the way, in the chat. I don't know if he's still here. If you're still here, Steve, say something. But anyway, Steve says, if you charted GDP growth and inflation, would it be a strong positive correlation? Well, I did that. I gotta plug it in. And it's not as obvious as you might think. So maybe we could throw that up. Here, allow hub. Oh, here we go. Oh, sorry, Apple takes a little longer to get plugged in and everything.
I know.
Yeah.
Can you charge Apple phones with other Apple phones yet? No, still no. Oh, we've had that for years.
So, yeah, I mean, you could see the insanity here of like, right? Look at the blue line here is GDP. Look at GDP in the 50s. Look at the stupid thing won't stop moving. I want to use it as a pointer. So here, you know what we're going to do? Here, can you pull off for a sec, Christian? I'm going to do something different.
Christian, pull out, bro.
Pull out. Oh, okay, stick it back in. Did I just say that? Whatever. So, okay, so we need an arrow. And, no, not arrows. What's that website? Never mind.
You've been on some weirder corners of the internet than me, it sounds like.
I just hear about this stuff. So here we've got GDP. You've got this explosion of GDP in the 50s. Almost no movement here in inflation, right? The red line, CPI. And these are all both year over year. This is core CPI to remove the energy volatility, right? Look at this extreme movement in GDP in the 60s, right? And here, as GDP is going down, inflation's actually finally starting to go up. Why? Because you had the breaking of price controls. So there's a lot that goes into this that isn't so obvious. Here, GDP is exploding, inflation's dunking.
Wait, I just want to ask a clarifying question on this. So when you're looking at CPI on this, is that the actual percentage of CPI versus the GDP is the change percentage?
It should be here. Pull off. Let's find out. Both of them should be change percentage.
Okay.
Both of them should be. It's fair to fact check. Okay, go. You can go and show this up on screen here. So as you can see, consumer price index, this is the same graph. Consumer price index, percent change from a year ago. Let's make sure that's also the case over here on line 1. Percent change from a year ago.
Okay.
So good question. All right, let's flip away for a sec.
Okay.
And we're back. So thank you for confirming. Ooh, oh, that's cool. Look at that. Oh yeah.
Bendia.
Oh yeah.
Look at that yaw.
Look at that inverted yield curve. Obviously, there's no correlation here. There's an a negative correlation over here. There's a negative to, no correlation over here because you've got bumpiness without bumpiness over here. Bumpiness with nominal bumpiness, bumpiness with no bumpiness, negative correlation, bumpiness with no bumpiness, bumpiness with no bumpiness. You get what I'm saying? Like, literally, no. So in fairness, no. This chart, I'm grateful, actually, Steve suggested we pull this up. I'm grateful that he brought this up in the comments because, no, there is no correlation. Where there is here. But, that's because, this is insane. The supply chain insanity we caused, which led to inflation, the money printing, which led to the insane levels of demand, and therefore the GDP booms. Of course, GDP is going to boom when you give everybody a crap load of money, and the supply chains break because of COVID. So yes, that's what it feels like in this last cycle. But is that true over history? Nope. Nowhere do we have that correlation. So... huge shout out to Steve because Steve just gave me away every time somebody wants the proof. It's in the pudding right here. Mm-hmm. You gotta put that on eHack now.
Yeah.
You know how long that's gonna take me to write out?
A minute.
Yeah, probably. A lot of people are like, Kevin, how much GPT are you using for that? 0. I'm not liking it. Like, I've tried it. It's just not good for what I need to do because I'm trying to give people like the highest value possible per bullet point. And GPT is missing some of my core takeaways, and it's giving fluff. And then I'm like, no. So 0 of that website is GPT. It's kind of cool. Old school. All right, what else?
Good site. Okay. I want to show you this. This is going to take just a few seconds, but
It's
to show
almost
you
wine time.
it is almost wine time. The Magnificent Sevens peg ratio. And let me first give credit where credit is due here. So Gary Black posted this and tagged Stock Savvy Shay here with this. Just wanted to hear your thoughts on this. With Tesla's a little bit lower than I actually expected, but then so are all of these other ones over here to the right.
It depends. It depends what EPS you're using. But I will say, roughly looking at that chart, Apple should be the highest. That's my chart. My chart has Apple the highest. I actually think Tesla's, for me, in my math, closer to like a 2. That's actually correct on NVIDIA.
Wow, really?
Yeah, they're very low on because of their projected growth. It's insane, and their EPS growth. And then Google has a low multiplier, so low multiplier, low growth gives you a low peg. Facebook, I have to say, they did fantastic. I didn't like them. I didn't like them when they were $90. I still don't like them today. I know that's kind of like, well, maybe I should have liked them because the stock's like, what, 300 something bucks now. good for them. But no, that one's not for me. And I don't see the long-term enthusiasm for Google or Meta, but NVIDIA, Tesla, and Microsoft, Apple, those would probably be my favorites.
Cool.
It's a good chart, though.
Yeah.
I like Gary's a great guy. I want to visit him in Chicago again. I like him.
He walked by me. By the time I noticed him, he was gone when I went to the Cybertruck event. Missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Vlad the Impaler.
Oh, my gosh.
Dude, he is selling out of Robinhood.
Is he really?
Yeah. So let me go over some of the historic sales that he's made recently. So Wednesday, October 7th, he sold 83,000 shares, 83.333. Average price was $9.60, so total value about $800K there. Then the next month, Thursday, November 2nd, he only sold 28,000 shares. Average price was a little lower, $9.35 for a total of $260K. And then a few days later, the very next week, Monday, November 6th, he sold an additional 83,333 shares. Average price $961, total of $800,000. And that brings us up to this last week, December 11th. He sold 250,000 shares at $11.60, worth a total of 2.9 mil. So he sold 250K shares. That brings his total shareholding now to 291,000 shares. In December,
No, he's got to have more than that. Of what he has?
of what he has, he just sold almost half of what he had left.
Really? That seems low.
That seems
crazy.
very low.
Yeah. Okay. Well, interesting. Because those numbers, they sound high. But then I look at somebody like Mark Benioff, which if we happen to go to ehack.com, good old ehack.
Heard of it?
And then we type in Salesforce. See, actually, yours would probably be faster. Just type in Salesforce and see if you get it. Just Command F. There we go. See, I know it's an Apple, Salesforce.
there we go.
Yeah. What does that one say?
What's that?
Is that it? That looks like it.
I got it.
That's it? What does it say?
Mark Benioff, CEO, Salesforce has been dumping. Since July, he's been selling about 15,000 stocks per trading day. It's about $3 million worth per day. Zuckerberg at Meta sold 185 million worth of shares in November. First
sales in 2
years. Bezos could not hold since 2021.
Or hasn't sold.
Sorry. Has not sold, since 2021. Airbnb co-founder sold. Wow.
$1 billion in July. So look at these. Like some of these sales, when we stack up Vlad against them, Vlad's like the discount man here.
Oh. Well, when he was a young boy growing up in Bulgaria. I was on the thumbnail today, so we had two Bulgarians on the thumbnail.
Let's go. Okay.
Some representation here.
I still want to go visit Bulgaria. I gotta
Yeah,
do that.
I
Get some of
wanna
that
take you.
meat. Bulgaria, that's good.
Lukanka.
Yeah, I don't know what that means, but whatever.
It's that meat that you love.
Every time I eat your meat,
I know. I want to bring you and your kids to my village, man.
they'd love to eat your meat. Oh, no.
Stop. Thank you. Little late on and demonetized. No, we're not monetized. Okay. That's all I had on Robinhood and Vlad sales.
And that's what we had for the rest of the pod.
Yeah, just ended on that note. ChatGPT, this is the last one that I think is really worth covering. But they have a news partnership now. And I've got this open on X, and then we can check the OpenAI blog in a second. But it says we have formed a new global partnership with, is this Axel Springer or Axel Springer? Is this European? Is this German? I don't know.
Can't even see it.
And it's news. That's as much as I can zoom.
Oh.
And its news product, real-time information from Politico, Business Insider, European Properties, Bild, and Welt, and other publications will soon be available to ChatGPT users. ChatGPT's answers to user queries will include attribution and links to full articles for transparency and further information. And they have it on their website. They have a blog post about it. So in the comments, it was kind of a mixed reaction. Some people are talking about misinformation. I don't really know. I mean, I know some of these publications, Politico, Business Insider, right?
Politico's not that bad.
I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah, I remember we had that political reporter. Would she come to our garage during the campaign? Anyway, she's interviewed me a few times. She wrote a few articles on me. She's like the California political lady for Politico. Boy, that's a mouthful. Oh, where do you work? Oh, I'm a political reporter for Politico. I guess that works. But anyway, she was really nice. And then yeah, I don't even remember. She was probably the nicest one. The worst was the local one, the VC Star. Like out of all of them.
Really?
Like the VC Star, the local one that should have been like propping us up. Like one of our own is running for governor to fight Newsom. The ones that should have been supportive were the liars. Like, it's fine if you say something about me that's true. It's like, oh, that's true. You know, maybe I am stupid. Maybe my plan is insane. You know what, like, fine. But they were just factually wrong. And so I emailed them and I'm like, hey, like, this is just factually wrong. You should change it. And they're like, no, thanks. Like, what?
Rude.
Yeah, it's insane. But that's the news.
That was a fun campaign, though.
It was really fun, yeah. But no, political, I thought was good. Anyway, so where were we? Oh, GPT. Yeah, I don't know. I'm choking myself here. This GPT news thing. I mean, I guess you could go in there every day and kind of be like, oh, you know, what's my news today or whatever. But
Grok already does that.
Who? Grok,
Grok.
yeah. But how much depth are you getting? You know, and like now you have to have a conversation with it. I don't know. It's like. I've tried the Bing like daily news thing or whatever, and it's like so superficial. It's like no thanks, or superficial, I guess is the word. Superficial is like a geological term. I've been talking to too many soils people.
Superficial. What does that mean?
I think it has to do with geology, and it's of or relating to the surface or crust of the earth or something like that. Superficial, as opposed to superficial, when something is like surface level. It's weird. Anyway,
okay. The very last thing I have, and we don't have to watch the video if you don't want, but Turkish MP. Actually passed away, unfortunately, while addressing Parliament.
So he had a heart attack.
He had a heart attack.
Yeah, oh, that's terrible.
The topic was on Israel, and he was just talking about how those who enable Israel can't escape Allah's wrath. Finished that sentence and collapsed.
No way. Dude, that's scary.
I can play it if you want.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, give me a second.
No way. No way.
And then he later died in the hospital.
Oh my gosh, like that sucks for him.
Okay.
But that's insane.
Here's the one that I have with
This is like the God is real thing then.
Dude, I'm questioning my faith so hard. Okay, we got the subtitles on this one.
Okay.
Vicdan azabından kurtulsanız tarihin azabından kurtulamayacaksınız. Tarihin azabından kurtulsanız Allah'ın gazabından kurtulamayacaksınız. Hepinizi saygıyla selamlıyorum.
Oh my God. Dude, it's like he got smited.
That's what I thought too. I'm not religious. I'm not happy about anyone dying.
No.
from a heart attack.
Wow.
I'm just like mind blown at the
Somebody in the
timing.
chat's like, I'm converting right now. You know what it is? I think, in fairness, look at that massive ass crowd, dude. Televised. That guy, he went up there with 120, like 180 heart rate probably. Nervous to shit in front of a crowd, impassioned message. He used every last ounce of energy left in his body.
Yeah, he was addressing Parliament. He was from the opposition party right now too. So I don't know.
It's got to be impassioned. Like, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, and like, let's be real. It's not like the best of shape for getting your heart rate up. You know, high cholesterol, presumably. And then, you know, your arteries don't have that much room to pump appropriately. It's terrible. It goes fast. It's just knock on wood. It makes you appreciate, you know, what we got.
It really does.
But
sorry to end it on that depressing
yeah,
note.
that's that. But like, I mean, obviously, like it's terrible for his family and everybody involved with his life and that. But now, I mean, that's also very weird. It's like, it does feel like you got smited. Anyway. I'm gonna go drink a glass of wine. Some of God's
I'm
blood.
gonna pray.
I'm gonna go and say a few prayers. Woo. God, take it away. No, this doesn't work.
Jesus, take the script.
Take the script. We gotta record. We gotta do like a recording. I'm tired of reading this.
No,
crap.
I like it when you read it.
Even though I'm a licensed financial advisor, licensed real estate broker, becoming a stockbroker, this video is neither personalized financial advice nor real estate advice for you. It is not tax, legal, or otherwise personalized advice tailored to you. This video provides generalized perspective, information, and commentary. Any third-party content I show should not be deemed endorsed by me. This video is not and shall never be deemed reasonably sufficient information for the purposes of evaluating a security or investment decision. Any links or promoted products, such as StreamYard, go to metkevin.com/StreamYard to learn more about streaming, throwing comments up on screen, banners, they do it all. I love it. Multi-streaming, too. It's kind of cool. Are either paid affiliations or products or services which we may benefit from. I personally operate an actively managed ETF and hold long positions in various securities. Still not short. Oh, wait, no. Am I short bonds? What's TMF? Oh, yeah, I might be short bonds. No. leverage bull. Anyway, potentially including those mentioned in this video. However, I have no relationship to any issuers, nor am I presently acting as a market maker. Wine time.